Heath Holloway, Titan Solutions.
Excellent. Titan Solutions. Of course, we were talking a little bit before we started the interview. Greeley, Colorado. We both have some common grounds in Greeley, Colorado. Of course, that's where you're located. Talk to me about your company and your office in Greeley, and are you in any other places?
We are in Gillette, Wyoming, so we're in the Powder and DJ Basin. Our headquarters is Greeley, Colorado, of course, because I live here. So we're a full containment, surface rental, and custom trailer company. So we put containment on locations under frac pads, anything that needs to be contained. Surface rentals from forklifts, loaders, light plants, anything like that. Let's see, custom trailers. We have cooling trailers, climate control trailers, shower trailers, office trailers for locations. Anything for surface rentals on the surface, on location, we do.
So I'm looking at your slogan, protecting people and the environment. You capitalize people and environment. That's obviously something you want to make sure that people understand. You're putting them as part of your mission, my guess is that. So talk to me about why people and environment are important in your business.
Well, the people are important because they're doing the work. And, they're out there day in, day out helping us succeed. And we put a lot into them. We coach, mentor, and train them. Any chance we get, whether you've been in the oil field or you're an outsider coming in, we take the time to make sure our people are where they need to be at all times, with training, safety, knowing what we're supposed to be doing, knowing the job, having the right tools, that type of thing. And then the environment's important in all aspects. So we're trying to, preserve the environment by protecting it with containment and, make sure things are protected, with containment and so get away from leaks. A lot of producers are not wanting even fresh water on the ground. So we do everything we can. We take pride in custom containment. So, any shape, any form you need, we'll put it out there for the environment. And, just preserve it for the future, for our kids and everything. That's what we're trying to do.
The Bakken is part of the Rocky Mountain region in terms of the Shale Play USA maps and according to many, many companies. And so a lot of companies are based out of Denver, maybe Greeley, depending on if they're specific to Weld County. But Denver is kind of a hot spot for a lot of bigger companies, Whiting and et cetera. When I go to So I've been going down to Colorado for about 10 years for oil and gas specifically. Before then it was publishing, but now it's specifically oil and gas. I stay in Fort Collins, which is not too far from Greeley, a stone's throw away. And the reason I stay in Fort Collins is, I don't really care for Denver's traffic. I try to avoid traffic as much as I can. About 5 years ago, I started noticing when I'm talking to people in the breakfast bars in the morning that work in the oil and gas industry, they'd look over their shoulder before they'd say it. And then, of course, flash forward to today, and, you've got the governor saying a war on oil and gas. Talk to me a little bit about what your perception has been with the oil and gas industry. You work in it, and you live in Greeley, yet you're a Coloradoan. Well, I don't know the correct word, but Coloradoan. Thank you. Talk to me about that a little bit, because it would seem to me that you're kind of in the thick of it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting right now. What's going on with the governor and oil and gas, and kind of the war on oil and gas. You're correct. A lot of people would be scared to say something. In the past, I think there's a lot more people willing to talk about oil and gas now. It's a lot of uneducated people, per se, out there. A lot of people don't even know there's oil and gas here in Colorado. Sometimes you're like, yeah, it's all over the place. But, it's about educating everybody right now, your employees, their families. So we'll bring people in from oil and gas companies, and we'll talk about what's going on in the industry. So our people know what's going on, how it affects us, how it affects everybody, because at the end of the day, it affects everyone, in different industries as well. So it's really big right now. I know there's a lot of meetings going on. There's a good group out there, Energy Strong, that's really working for all of us and putting the time and effort in to be at all these meetings when a lot of people can't be there, to share the information, because in the past, nothing would get shared. So there's a lot of people out there sharing this stuff, and as long as we get with our people and tell them what's going on, they have a better idea, and we can come together as a team and fight it.
What seems to be the biggest challenge that you're seeing from Colorado? Is it just the social engineering of the perception of it? Is there an actual, legitimate, thing, I guess? I was really surprised by it, to be honest. I was very surprised by the whole, like I said, when people started looking over their shoulders and just that whole kind of ashamedness of it. I'm not used to that because for me, the light switch was never political. Energy was never political. And that's what it really became. It became almost like if you support oil and gas, you supported the extremism of a political party. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's true. I think it just comes down to education and what oil and gas is. From plastics to cars to everything. It's just coming down to understanding what this is. And if we could all take the time and educate everyone on what's going on and what oil and gas means to other industries and communities, we'd have a better effect. But no one's wanting to do that. If you get on these social media neighborhood pages and there's the construction sector is building houses and they got a big crane in the air, they think it's a drilling rig. And that becomes a war. And, oh my God, they're drilling in my neighborhood. Well, they've been drilling in your neighborhood a long time because the construction industry has come into that oil and gas fields and started building and everything. So it's been here for a long time. It's the number one thing right now is just to educate everybody, in my opinion, on and what oil and gas is, what it means, what is oil and gas, how many products are made from oil and gas. So a lot of people out there say silly things, right? But at the same time, they're causing more of an issue than we are, because they're driving their SUV, so that's gas guzzling. They're using oil and gas. They're using plastics. They're doing this. They got everything like that, and they're causing just as much, controversy than we are. So again, it's just education is the most important thing right now, and understanding what it is.
One of the challenges that I'm putting out to the energy industry, I guess I have been, I didn't even know this till somebody pointed it out to me, is the education portion of it is just to rethink how we're educated. I've got a 13-year-old son, and I listened to the energy industry talk about television commercials, and then somebody asked me about it, and I said, honestly, we got rid of our TV in 2007, and unless you're on Instagram or YouTube, you're not reaching my 13-year-old son.
Right.
And now I brought my 13-year-old son to the Williston Basin Conference, and he's got a little podcast, Kids in Capitalism, and he interviewed Harold Hamm, and he interviewed Mike Henderson, the VP of Marathon Oil, Jack Stark, the president of Continental. Oh yeah, he's scored better interviews than I've ever scored, and he got Linda McMahon, from the WWE and former small business secretary. I didn't even get Linda McMahon,
Wow.
Oh yeah. And,
good for him.
And when we ran across this bike that was made without petroleum, basically it's the frame, that's what they do. And the guy that was there, and this is not against him, because he's trying to do his job and the way it is, but it was almost like, and I felt like this from the industry standpoint as I watched this guy do his job, talking to my then 12-year-old son. He was lecturing him. And like, why don't you know better? It reminded me of the farmers when they were trying to lecture us on the disconnect we had from the ag industry and this and that. And so I had to take a step back and say, as an industry, we're missing that connection. And then I saw what happened in Colorado. And I said this 3 years ago on my program. I said, what happened in North Dakota with the smoking ban is going to happen in other states with other industries. And what I mean by that is it has nothing to do with cigarettes. It has to do with a product that has jobs in an industry that people don't like because it's easy to look at and it's easy to demonize. And I'm a non-smoker. And so what they do is they do a public safety, emotion, and setback of feet. And that's how they did it in California. That's how they did it with the smoking ban. And they did it in North Dakota. And these were out-of-state people that did it. And again, I didn't have any dog in this hunt at all. I wasn't a bar owner. I wasn't a restaurant or anything like that. And I was a non-smoker. But I saw what was happening. And that same template happened in Colorado. And I said, you watch. In another industry, they're going to put a mother and a baby up there and a duck covered in oil. And that's it. And what do they do in Colorado? They put a mother with a baby with a smokestack in the background. I don't even think they put any words on there. But that's what the energy industry needs to understand, is that we're such a technical, science-based industry. It's really easiest for us to forget how someone else can connect on emotion and just discount everything we've ever done because, hey, let's not let facts ruin this, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so, do you know what I mean? I don't know the answer to this, but it just seems like as an industry, we need to figure out new ways to try to connect with the audience. Does that make sense a little bit?
Oh, I totally agree. I was talking to somebody today about that, connecting to the people in the industry on a town hall meeting, or, certain companies have those town hall meetings, and getting with your local government and see where we can have those type of area, town hall meetings and educate everybody. This is what's going on, and this is why. This is what this does. And the more you know, at least you know the information, and then you can have your opinion. You can't have your opinion and then get the information. So, we try to talk to our employees any chance we get of what's going on. And we have a lot of young people on our staff, anywhere from 18 to 26 for the majority of it. And educating them is the biggest thing we do of what's going on, what this is, and training them on what this is. Because some come in hesitant on, oh gosh, what's going to happen. And as long as we get them the information, I think that's the best thing to do. But I agree. Town halls, we need to have more town halls.
Yeah, and what the town hall means is engagement with people outside the industry, and by using people in the industry, I couldn't agree more. In fact, I spoke at a panel with Dan Haley from Colorado, and James Cook. I believe he's the Senate Minority Leader, and your district out of Greeley. He's your yeah, he's a former sheriff.
Yep.
And we also had on the gentleman from Wyoming. And then, and I mispronounce his last name. I would say John Robitussin, but it's not that. And people listening are probably going to chastise me, but I apologize because I kind of got thrown into it a little bit. And then there was a panelist or a moderator as well, and that was one of the things that I took away from that during the Q&A portion afterwards. Was there was a person probably 28 years old. she mentioned how she had a certain perception of the oil and gas industry through high school and college, and then she worked for the oil and gas industry, and it completely changed her whole ideology, if you will, about the entire industry. And that's how I felt too. A lot of people don't know this, but when I started this content company that I have on 30 radio stations and over 350,000 social media, we were going to investigate against oil and gas, actually. That was our predetermined business model, was we were going to investigate against oil and gas because that was the low-hanging fruit. That was the easy, we could probably sell it for, $1,000 here, $2,000 here. And what I saw in my first week was the oil and gas industry was not the bad guy. They were not the dishonest people. They were the only ones creating opportunity. They were the only ones they were the only ones actually creating the opportunity and the elements of capitalism, and it was the other people in between that were ruining it. And I saw that really quick. And so we shifted very quickly to say, you know what? At our core, our employees and us, we like to enable capitalism rather than enhance entitlement. And so that's kind of like our little joke around here, type of a thing, because we're not big fans of entitlement.
Right.
But hey, some people are. That's the way it goes. Talk to me a little bit about your younger people shift. Did you see a shift like I did in mindset of people? Did they have that kind of anti-fossil fuel climate change mentality, and then after working for you, they changed, or is that not the case where you're at?
I would say a little bit, because we have University of Northern Colorado here, so we get a lot of college kids here for work.
Sure.
All types, right? And some don't believe in any of oil and gas, right? But then the thing of it is, they want the job. They know they can make good money. They know they can do this or that. So we educate them. Then you do get that kickback of, oh, I thought you guys just did this or did that. Or it was more like this or that. No, it's like this. We take care of our people. This is a family, oil field family. If we go to North Dakota, we go to Wyoming, Texas, anywhere, we're all family at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to do better all the time. And we're trying to do good all the time. So it was kind of fun to see some of them change. Now they still have their political view, or they see, in a different way. And that's okay. But now they're educated, and trained on how this works and what this is. And we're only doing our aspect and a few other aspects of the oil field. And there's still a lot out there. We're not going to coach, mentor, and train them on because we don't know it. But it was cool to see some of the change. And some people, if they don't like it, they just quit. And they go on with their lives. So that's kind of how it happened here.
How did you get into this?
Family business.
Okay.
My grandfather owned a company way back in the day. And trucks, rigs, roustabouts, frac tanks, all that type of thing. And then my dad worked for him. And my dad had a few businesses here and there. And then I started working for my dad in 2000, doing trucking, frac tanks, winch trucks. That's my kind of background and forte.
Okay.
And then I saw an opportunity in 2013, and I took advantage of it. So this is, we've been going for 5 years. This has been a huge change and learning curve. But we've been going strong. We started in a downturn, and we've made it in 5 years strong. So, and we're working in 2 states. So, we're doing something right, I think.
Are you just in the 2 states? Are you looking at other states, Texas, North Dakota?
So with the political form right now, we are looking other places. New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma. We've done some jobs here and there. We go in there, do them, come back out. We've done some stuff in North Dakota, Montana, and Utah. But we're evaluating everything and seeing what works. We're only going to do it if it works. And so, but it's getting closer, and it's not a huge rush. I think we're going to be okay in Colorado with everything going on, especially being in Weld County. But we're just protecting ourselves and looking at other places to keep growing.
Do you have an update from Weld County in terms of kind of some anecdotal stuff that you're hearing? You're in the industry. You're one of the leaders down there. Are you hearing any companies that are leaving? Any companies that are saying nope, everything's going to be fine? I understand the county kind of came forward and said, "Here's what we want for regulations." They're trying to be a leader in this whole movement.
Yeah, so they created a whole team for the oil and gas within the county, and I haven't seen anybody leave. I think everybody's just getting tighter, and they got their, they're not leaving. They're not, nothing's happening. They're just getting, a little bit more educated on what's going to happen here. So they're looking at other plays, looking at other things, and then there's tightening up within their company, as far as producers. Now, as far as service companies, I don't see anybody moving out or shut the doors or anything like that because they're scared or anything like that. Everybody's still going strong. It's a pretty close-knit family here in the DJ with all of us service companies. We all know each other, some way, somehow. We know each other or work together. But they're doing kind of like what I'm doing. They're expanding. They're looking at other markets, seeing what's out there, just to kind of protect themselves against the political form that's going on. But, there's that group, Energy Strong. They're really doing a great job for us. I give them so many kudos. Being at the meetings, being there when other people can't be, getting the word out, and help everybody understand what's going on and what the effects are. Because sometimes you don't get to hear that stuff. So they've been a great outlet for everybody to understand what's going on. But as far as producers or anything, it's just normal. Slow down and get ready to gear up for the winter, and stick to their budgets type of thing. But other than that, everything seems to be going okay right now.
We had Jack Hamlin on, Summit Engineering, and one of the leaders of Energy Strong Colorado, talking about just some of the history and some of the other things going on. You thought they were doing some good work. Talk to me a little bit more about just your perception of how you think they're being received, what type of message you think they're leaving with people. Jack seemed to be pretty positive about it, and you seem as well.
Oh, Jack and the team are doing great. Like I said, getting everybody informed that doesn't get this day-to-day, or they're not here, or they're just family members of an oil and gas worker, and getting that message to them, having, some of the rallies we've had, being a part. I think they took the government, on pretty strong, and they kind of went, oh, who's this? What's going on? And wasn't really ready for something like Energy Strong. But I think that's been a big influence in our stuff that's been going on with the SB 181, everything that's happening, and just getting close with, every political person that's involved. It's been huge. Their social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, they're putting stuff out there, educating from what oil and gas makes, what we use from oil and gas, to, here's what's going on with this regulation, here's what's going on with this. They're doing a hell of a job, and kudos to them.
Heath Holloway with us with Titan Solutions out of Greeley, Colorado. Also an office in, where did you say, Gillette? Is that right? Gillette,
Yes,
Wyoming?
Gillette. Oh, yeah, Gillette, Wyoming.
Gillette, Wyoming. And, in the latest issue of the Oil Man magazine as well. Your team is in there. I just went online and looked at that today. Hey, by the way, frac wellhead stands. I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
Wellhead frac stand. So we put a stand around the wellhead.
Okay.
So wireline or the frac crews
Sure.
don't have to be in a man lift and reach over and turn on valves, put valves on. They have a platform to stand on and put things on easier.
Okay.
A little bit safer.
And some of the other things, you mentioned the containment packages and some of these other things. You're like somebody that they would call on the preliminary part, not a reactive thing. You're more or less somebody on the front end would be using your services
so we're
as opposed to a cleanup containment.
Yeah, right. We're getting everything set up for the frac or for the drilling sites or a frac tank going out to the field on a production site. We're getting ahead of everything and before they get going on the job.
And one of the questions I like to ask people too, and sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not because this industry is so specific. Who is your customer? Who is it that you're trying to reach?
Well, we're just trying to reach the producers. We get into some outside, some construction stuff, that type of thing with surface rentals like the man lifts, the telehandlers, skid steers, that type of thing.
Safety showers.
Safety showers can be in all areas.
Yep.
In different industries. But we're on the drilling side, the production side, and the completion sides. And then we tap into the construction side of the oil field. With security trailers, we did a job for a company where we were out there for 45 days and just watching location. And what we do there is sign everybody in and out, go over what's going on, show them a map, and go overview on JSA and make sure everybody gets signed in, signed out.
Mm-hmm. And, one of the reasons I asked, of course, you're from Greeley, and there are some companies that they do both the ag and the energy side of things. I didn't think that really applied with yours because that's more on the reclamation side. It seems the ag and energy coexistence and combination comes out of it. But yours definitely, I can see the construction crossover and just any sort of environmental type things that come with it. So, okay. Outstanding. So talk to me about innovation. Talk to me about technology. How much of what you guys have going on has to do with regulations and innovation and that sort of business?
Well, technology, we try to mix that in. There's not much technology with containment, right? The technology is the heat gun. But we have a thing called Titan Command with our security trailers, signing everybody in and out through iPad, and also with our safety showers, having a monitor in there and let you know what's going on with the shower, how cool it is in there, hot it is. 'Cause we have combo trailers, and meaning you can stay warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and it's a shower trailer eye wash station. So we're in the beginning stages of that, putting that together. So if the company man wanted to check on things, he could go in there and touch the screen, see where everything's at. Because we have to stay ANSI standard on our shower trailers. The water has to be at a certain degree. It has to be certain warmth. Things like that. So we try to integrate as much technology as we can in there. The other technology, GPS on all our stuff, so we know and can bill faster. We bill easier with GPS and having the customer understand and then just sending out reports to the customer real time, especially from the Titan Command on security trailers. After every shift, we can send that out, and the customer's happy. Everything's totaled for them, everything's done, and it's less headache for them to do. So we try to stay innovative as much as we can, looking at everything out there, but at the same time creating our own. I don't ever want to be known as copying somebody, and we don't. So we try to do everything we own and do it ourselves and plan it out how we want to do it. So that's the biggest thing about us. We try to do everything custom. We try to look at everything, go through everything, and make sure it's our own, and it's like nobody else's. So that's a big part of our business. I'm kind of on the front side of that a lot with my partners. Just like the wellhead stands, I saw there was a need, and it'd be easier to be out there and working on them instead of being in a man basket, and looking at different things. Just going into the field, seeing what's out there. What else can we do? What other solutions can we provide for the customer? So that's kind of how we take care of the innovation around here and some of the technology we're doing.
I can appreciate that. I know I actually wrote down and had on my bathroom mirror for a while, you were born an original. Stop trying to be a copycat of someone else. And
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
I can't stand that stuff. Be your own person and do your own.
Totally. And a lot of that's confidence-based. It seems like when for me, I don't know, if I get dumped or a girl does something to me, I get low self-esteem, like every other man and like a lot of other guys in America, And when you get a low self-esteem, it seems like you just start trying to mimic someone else. You start trying to copy someone else. And I had to write that down. Hey, man, you were born original. Stop it. Be the original you were born to be. And that's hard. That's hard at times for people,
Right. And we've had a few companies try to copy. And it sucks, because you go out there and you're like, what is this? This is exactly what we do.
Tell me about it.
And it's pretty sad for companies to do that. If I already have a square, then do a triangle. And the next guy do a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be different here because you're not getting anywhere, because at the end of the day, I'm going to get that work back because I know what we're doing. And the service quality is there. So, because I designed it and made this thing. So, that really irks me anymore. But it is what it is, and they're out there. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm in the same boat as you were. I mean, I had to live through the blogging craze, and now I'm living through the podcast craze, which is like, okay, I know that you can print a checklist off the internet and do it yourself. I get that. I just interviewed a drone guy, and that's his biggest challenge. He'll go into a meeting, and a second meeting, and a third meeting, and then what they'll do is they'll go buy their own drone and try and do it themselves. And people don't realize and he had a great quote, which was, you're not buying the drone, you're buying the service. And that's right.
Right.
That is so right on so many different things. And for me, I was like, okay, I went through this with the blogs, because I'm a writer by trade. So I've been publishing a lot of different things, and sure, anybody can write, but can you actually write? And sure, anybody can do an interview, but can you actually do that? Because these things take work. And so, and I'm not on my soapbox here, but I am. But usually after 12 to 10 of those blogs or podcasts, they go away. It's the graveyard. It's the ghost yard of them. And it's because people realize, oh, this is a lot of work. And that's what the drone guy was talking about, is once they get it up there, they realize, okay, now what do we do? We have all the material, now what? And so I can see where that would be true in your industry too. There's a little bit of expertise that people have to pay for as well.
Right. And you do. You got to know what you're dealing with, and you got to know what you're doing. And knowing your business is the biggest part of it, and getting your people on the same path is the other one.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
And having the good people on the bus and trying to get the bad people off the bus. So, that's the biggest thing we try to do all the time. So, and our employees have, stop work authority. They can come to us and go, hey, this isn't working. Can we look at this? And we drop what we're doing and let's go look at it. Let's see what we can do. How can we make it better and easier? Because we don't need to knock our head against the wall.
So what's next for you? I'd like to give people a kind of last word a little bit. Heath Holloway with Titan Solutions. And that way the question's not framed by me or anything like that. But if there's anything we didn't touch on, anything you want to reiterate or anything along those lines. So, kind of the floor is yours, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, just for Titan Solutions, myself and my partners just looking at expanding and growing the business and keeping that top-tier customer service and great plan we have with Titan and keep doing what we're doing. We've come a long way. Myself and my partners are never been in this service business on this side of stuff. We've always been in trucking or wireline or water transfer type of things. But, we've done a great job, and we just look forward to keep moving the needle upwards and expand.